41 Action News starts now.
How can you assess someone's house if you doesn't come out physically, walk around and look at it?
Validation tonight for thousands of homeowners who are still fighting their property tax spike from 2019.
Today, the state auditor's office releasing its findings into what happened when Jackson County property tax assessments tripled in some cases, stating missing information skewed some of the assessments and the system used was not sufficient.
41 Action News reporter Ariel Rothfield shows us what it means for homeowners.
For many Jackson County residents, the state auditor's report validated their concerns, and now they're hoping the county will follow through on all of the recommendations for this upcoming year.
I'm ranting. I was ranting then. I'm still ranting.
He's tried to forget, but for Just Buck, it's too painful not to remember.
It was an easy number to remember. 1, 2, 3, 4 was the year before, and the next year they billed me for $3,200.
He's one of the thousands of Jackson County property owners who appealed their 2019 tax assessments, a process the Missouri State Auditor's Office found was problematic to begin with. In a final report released Tuesday, State Auditor Nicole Galloway said Jackson County's total assessed valuation was more than 70% higher than any other county in the state.
Wow. Well, I mean, how can you assess someone's house if you doesn't come out physically, walk around and look at it?
Kenneth Herron also saw his home assessment triple, and he fought it, successfully lowering his property taxes. Like his neighbors, he's hoping he won't see a dramatic increase again in 2021.
I'm a little more skeptical. I wish it'd be that easy.
Galloway recommended the county closely monitor maintenance of assessment records and data, implement a new computer-assisted appraisal system, and train staff to ensure effective and efficient future reassessments. In a letter to Galloway included in the report, Jackson County Executive Frank White said the county administration is committed to working with the legislator throughout the reassessment process and will make any additional changes necessary. Changes Just Buck hopes to see this year.
As somebody who didn't fight as bad last time, maybe since it's already high, it won't increase as much, or maybe won't increase at all this time.
Reporting in Kansas City, Ariel Rothfield, 41 Action News.
Ariel, thank you for that update. As part of the state audit, it was noted while several of the appeals from 2019 are still pending, various appeals resulted in the assessed valuation of approximately 13,000 parcels being decreased approximately $246 million. According to the audit, there are still homeowners working through this appeals process. You can read the full audit online at KSHB.com.
I know a lot of homeowners happy to see that. A rapid back and forth tonight on whether Lisa Montgomery will be executed for the murder of Bobby Joe Stinnett. Montgomery was convicted of killing Stinnett in 2004 and cutting her baby from her womb. She was scheduled to be put to death around 5 o'clock tonight. 3 requests were made to stay her execution. 2 have been denied, including one from the Supreme Court. We're waiting to hear about the 3rd motion, which is now going to the Supreme Court for consideration. Her attorney filed those stays, wanting a competency evaluation to be done. Here's some pictures from protesters outside the prison in Terre Haute, Indiana, as many plead for Lisa Montgomery to be saved. The Tribune-Star shared these photos with us as people held up signs saying, "I oppose the death penalty. Don't kill for me." As this story develops, we'll let you know what the decision is. We did talk to people who knew Bobby Joe Stinnett as they shared their grief with losing someone they loved at such a young age. You can hear their stories about what this murder did to their small town on our website, KSHB.com.
Officers tell us a woman was shot and killed in a car near 37th and Olive in Kansas City, Missouri. No information on the suspect either. This is the city's 6th homicide this year. Also important to note, we also had 6 homicides at this time last year. Many of us know what happened. It ended up being Kansas City's deadliest year in history. Local leaders don't want Kansas City to see another deadly year like that. We talked with Police Chief Rick Smith, Prosecutor Gene Peters-Baker, and Mayor Quentin Lucas about possible solutions to violent crime.
I'm from Kansas City. In my lifetime, probably about more than 4,000 people have been murdered in Kansas City. That needs to change, and I want 2021 to be the year where it does change.
You can watch the full conversation on our town hall tomorrow. It starts at 3 p.m. on your favorite streaming platforms.
Vice President Mike Pence ruled out any efforts to use the 25th Amendment to remove President Trump from office. He sent a letter to House Speaker Nancy Pelosi urging lawmakers to avoid impeachment and focus on Biden's transition, saying the actions could, quote, further divide and inflame the passions at the moment. The House is prepared to vote as early as tomorrow on an article of impeachment accusing President Trump of, quote, inciting violence against the government of the United States, end quote. House Democrats say they do have the votes to impeach, but with the Senate now in recess, any impeachment trial would likely come after the president has already left office. A local political professor says there isn't a precedent for this scenario.
A lot of these things might have to be decided in court, might have to be decided among senators. And in some ways, the difficulty is deciding those things requires compromise and coming together and figuring out a way forward as a country, and that can be the difficult part.
You can hear more from him tomorrow morning on 41 Action News Today as we continue to take a deeper look at this issue.
Plans are being put into action as the FBI warns about armed protests and attacks at capitals across the country. Tonight in D.C., the Capitol complex closed to the public. Security personnel, they're having meetings on site to go over procedures, and large metal gates surround the entire Capitol complex to provide a protective barrier from the public. The Senate Minority Leader also calling for travel restrictions for those caught participating in last week's incursion. FBI investigators combing through more than 100,000 videos and pictures from the riots. Agents and partners across the country now plan to arrest anyone involved and file a wide range of charges.
Kansas Governor Laura Kelly also addressed recent events at the Capitol during her State of the State speech tonight. She says Kansas lawmakers must be better than what we're seeing in Washington, D.C.
We're being tested like never before. This year, working together isn't simply something I want. It's something we owe to the people of Kansas. This year, as leaders, we must commit ourselves to set an example.
Governor Kelly also introduced her framework for growth. She's hoping to focus on 5 economic areas to help Kansas recover: small businesses, infrastructure, job creation, agriculture, and broadband.
Well, if you've stepped outside in the last few hours, you know it's kind of warm, but something weird has happened. We've actually warmed up 5 degrees from 8 o'clock to now. It's 43 degrees outside. The sky is clear. The thing is, the wind has kicked up about 5 miles per hour since that temperature about 8 o'clock when it was about 38 degrees. Now it's a southwest wind at 13 miles per hour. A lot of us have stayed warm. It's 42 downtown. It's 40 in Olathe and Spring Hill, Lee Summit, and Pleasant Hill. So temperatures tonight will probably only drop down to about freezing. We'll have clear skies tonight, kind of breezy conditions tonight and to tomorrow as well. Tomorrow's the last day of warm weather. Some snowfall may not be too far in the future. I'll talk about when that stuff may fall from the sky in just a little bit. Yeah.
Thanks, Wes. Well, there were some tensions running high in Edgerton tonight as homeowners fight against a proposed expansion to build some warehouses near their property.
41 Action's reporter Aaron Ladd shows us what's at stake.
Standing room only in Edgerton Tuesday night.
If they really cared, they would have notified us.
All we can expect is that our property values are going to go down.
North Point hid their true identity when they bought these properties. If they're North Point, be North Point. Buy the properties as North Point. Don't hide behind these LLC cattle companies.
Residents sounding off against a proposed industrial development. Their worry, increased commercial traffic to a typically quiet rural residential area.
So you start seeing signs go up and you start hearing annexing this, annexing that.
At Tuesday night's Planning Commission meeting, North Point gave their plan, arguing adding the proposed warehouse will bring more jobs to the area.
A demand does exist. With COVID, intermodal shipping has been through the roof. They expect for that to continue well through 2021.
I think pushing small families out, regardless of their property or what they do in the community, is wrong.
This road here in Johnson County shows exactly what this community is fighting so hard to protect. On one side of 207th Street, rural farmland, many of which say they grew up on this side of Johnson County. On the other side, inevitable signs of commercial progress. This warehouse popping up in just the last year and a half. Nearly 2 hours of public comment from those impacted the most.
People have just bought homes out here a short time ago, or built homes, and they're going to have their property values destroyed.
The committee's recommendation to move forward with the rezoning, clearing the path for more expansion.
We're going to be part of industrial park and warehousing.
Residents not ready to let the sun set on their fight just yet.
Just doesn't seem right.
Any final decision will come from the Edgerton City Council. Reporting in Johnson County tonight, Aaron Ladd, 41 Action News.
Thank you, Aaron. City Council members will meet again Thursday night at 7 o'clock.
Some Kansas City, Kansas students will soon be able to return to in-person learning. This switch is available to select students kindergarten through 5th grade. It includes students who struggle with connection issues, those who may face language barriers, students who spend a significant part of their day in special education settings, as well as those students in foster care and experiencing homelessness. High school seniors who are at risk of not graduating on time can also return to in-person learning. These students would learn in person each day except Wednesday. That's set to begin on February 22nd.
Starting tomorrow, bars and restaurants in Wyandotte County can serve customers until midnight and close the businesses by 10 p.m. Kansas City expected to announce a new health order. That's tomorrow at noon, that announcement. We'll bring you that announcement live on our website and our streaming platforms. A fake website hoping to get your information. What you need to know before heading to Kansas's unemployment website. Plus, the special dedication now in the works to honor a fallen officer in Overland Park.
Great weather today, mostly sunny skies. Highs were in the middle 50s. I think we'll be warmer tomorrow. How much warmer? I'll tell you coming up.
New tomorrow morning, tax season, well, it's upon us, right? So we'll tell you how to claim the stimulus money on your taxes, even if you haven't received it yet. Well, we won't, but consumer investigator Kat Reed will. You can also track your check. She's got some tips for that. Tomorrow morning, starting at 4:30 on 41 Action News.
Everywhere you look, you see a push for change.
In Kansas City, comebacks are in the DNA, and together we will make it happen.
You've got a team telling your stories.
First, we listen. It's what you deserve.
With so much changing minute by minute, count on us for the stories that hit home.
We hear you and are becoming a voice for you.
From all of us at NBC Nightly News and 41 Action News, thank you for joining us as we rise to the challenge and rebound together.
You're watching 41 Action News.
A bill aimed at protecting children from abuse now being reintroduced this morning in Kansas.
Lawmakers say Adrian's law is taking priority despite first being introduced 4 years ago. It's named after Adrian Jones, the 7-year-old who died after years of abuse by his father and stepmother. The bill requires adults to report abuse to authorities or otherwise face criminal charges. And it requires a social worker to visit with the child instead of knocking and leaving if no one comes to the door.
I think it's incumbent upon the reportability and people in charge, social services, to take responsibility and not just wash your hands and walk away.
The bill now moves on to the committee floor, then the House, before making its way to the Senate for final approval.
Overland Park leaders say it's a lasting legacy for a local hero. 123rd Street between Blue Valley and Metcalf is now Mike Mosier Boulevard. It's in honor of that fallen officer. The Overland Park City Council approving the change last night. The new street signs, they're coming soon.
Some local communities are seeing the highest percentage of people positive with COVID-19 ever. Right now in eastern Jackson County, 1 in 15 people have tested positive. That's with 1 in 3 people being tested. The Jackson County Health Department says even with vaccinations starting in the area, wearing a mask, social distancing, and good hygiene are more important than ever.
Some states could get more COVID-19 vaccines than others, depending on how fast they administer shots. The government making that announcement today. It will base the size of shipments on how fast states are vaccinating and the size of their elderly population. So the new guidelines come as the CDC expands vaccine eligibility to everyone 65 and older, as well as people with high-risk conditions.
We would rather have some lower priority individuals get vaccinated along with the high priority individuals if it makes us go fast and if it avoids vaccines sitting on the shelves and for the love of God, not having vaccine actually wasted or thrown away because of a failure to administer.
Kansas City's health director says it could still take time to get many high-risk people vaccinated.
I believe that the majority of them, it will be months still before they're vaccinated. Certainly not days. Unless they're healthcare providers or something where they're in there for another category. Whether we're able to start doing some in February, we'll see.
Scammers are looking to steal your personal data through a new fake website.
This one appearing to be the unemployment benefits site for Kansans. The Department of Labor shared this image today. It looks similar to the real site, but the web address you see right there is different. If the URL does not say getkansasbenefits.gov, close it immediately and remove the site from your browser's history. Again, the only correct URL is getkansasbenefits.gov.
Here's Kansas City's most accurate forecast from meteorologist Wes Peary.
Well, if you didn't get the chance to enjoy the really nice weather we have today, tomorrow is your last day to do so. But as we topped out in the middle 50s, downtown got to 54, so did Lee Summit and Adrian. Officially got to 55 degrees for a high today at KCI, and we'll probably do the exact same thing again tomorrow, and probably a little bit warmer as well. Weird things have happened with the temperatures. At 8 o'clock, we were at 38 degrees. The wind kicked up just a little bit, and we're up to 43 now at KCI. It's 42 in Kansas City, downtown that is. Marshall's at 36, Sedalia's at 39. Osage City and Ottawa are also both at 36 degrees. Everybody has a clear sky. Your temperature right now is totally dependent upon how breezy it is outside. About 10 to 15 mile per hour wind speeds can be expected for the rest of the evening, easing up overnight a little bit, and that'll help temperatures drop into the 30s. But we should have clear sky because there's nothing even nearby us right now. So near about 33 downtown. Tomorrow, some high clouds will pass through, especially late morning, early afternoon. Those really shouldn't stop us from getting to about 57 degrees for a high temperature tomorrow. So that's 2 degrees warmer than what we were today. Tomorrow will also be a little bit windier with gusts up to 25 miles per hour possible. A cold front set to come through. This is about, we'll call it 6 a.m. on Thursday morning, is not going to bring a whole lot of moisture with it for Kansas City. Yes, to our north and to our south, there will be a little bit more rain, but I think in Kansas City, there's not going to be much to contend with as far as rainfall. After the rain or whatever passes through Thursday morning, we're still in the middle 40s for highs, but cold air comes in, and as a big area of low pressure continues to just spin off to our northeast, it may throw areas of light snow over us on Friday. And this setup is tricky and it's interesting as well. It's not another question. We get some extremely minor accumulation on elevated surfaces, but that is a very slim possibility at this point. But I think we may see more snow flurries on Friday than we see actual raindrops on Thursday morning, the way things are looking. So I don't think there's going to be any accumulation, but it will be something nice to see fall from the sky on Friday. I mean, look at this rainfall forecast. Less than 1/10 of an inch might be generous at this point. More like 1/100 of an inch of rainfall is possible. I mean, we're like barely getting the ground wet type of rainfall here. So don't expect much. What you should expect, though, is a much windier and colder Friday. Wind gusts 35 to 40 miles per hour with feels-like values in the teens in the morning, and then maybe in the 20s by the afternoon. We can see at 4 o'clock here and 6 o'clock, we're back down to wind chill values in the teens. Just overall cold day expected for Friday. Maybe a little bit of snow to go along with it as well. We're mostly clear tonight, 33 degrees for that overnight low. Tomorrow, late morning, early afternoon, the sky will have kind of look to it where it has a kind of a hazy, filtered sunshine look. Other than that, expecting the day to be mostly sunny, 57 for a high with a southwest wind at about 10 to 20 miles per hour. So much windier tomorrow. 35 for Friday. The Chiefs game on Sunday, things look great. 41 degrees there. A slight chance of a quick burst and maybe a light wintry mix, but it's only 20% at this point. We're back to the middle 40s by Tuesday. Dia?
Well, Wes, speaking of looking great, Chiefs Kingdom is getting decked out, ready to cheer on the team as they run it back to the playoffs. City of Champions banners went up around the city today. They replaced the Home Sweet Home banners, which, by the way, are being raffled off. The proceeds from that raffle will benefit COVID-19 relief in the city. Check out this new mural in the Crossroads, looking good. Tomstown Distillery unveiled the mural for the first time today. All right, Mackenzie, we've got the stage set. Let's get to the game.
Almost playoff time, right, Dia? Well, on this day 1 year ago, you probably remember it, the Chiefs made an incredible comeback, and they may have received some help off the field. I'll explain what I mean coming up. And it's easier said than done here. Chiefs president Mark Donovan had a few things to say before the Chiefs playoff run begins this Sunday. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Never has one word been at the heart of so much. Everywhere you look, you see a push for change. You're protesting, speaking up, asking why. And in Kansas City, you've got a team telling your stories. First, we listen. It's what you deserve. Quite frankly, it's what you should expect. With so much changing minute by minute, count on us for the stories that hit home, expose the truth, and demand change. We hear you, and are becoming a voice for you. That's 41 Action News.
Well, it was a Big 12 showdown in Stillwater tonight as Kansas faced Oakdown, the 6th-ranked Jayhawks, 75-70. Let's go to the first half. David McCormick helps the Jayhawks stay in front early on and slams this one in, but the Cowboys, they would dominate offensively. Cade Cunningham from behind the arc, he drains this one to take the lead. The Cowboys made 7 threes, and they were up 46-35 at the half. To the second half now we go. The Cowboys, they cooled off a bit in the beginning of the second half, going more than 5 minutes without a bucket. But here come the Jayhawks going on a 19-2 run. Marcus Garrett would lay this one up to take the lead. And with 59 seconds to play, the score was all tied up at 70 as the Cowboys hit another 3 here. And Marcus Garrett would then take it to the hole, but he was denied at the rim, and the Cowboys would score in transition, going up 3 and holding on to win it.
I thought it was very poor. We probably played a pretty competitive 10 minutes.
To football now, late to the party, the Texans have requested an interview with Chiefs offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy. This comes after quarterback Deshaun Watson was not happy the team failed to reach out. EB can't interview with until the Chiefs season ends, and so far he has interviewed with the Jets, the Jags, Chargers, Falcons, and the Lions. And whether it's the Run It Back tour or the road to repeat, call it whatever you want, but it's not easy to do. And that's what Chiefs president Mark Donovan had to say to sports director Mick Schaefer.
We talk about the consistency of winning. If this team is able to go through the Run It Back tour, I mean, they put the pressure on themselves at the very beginning, calling it a Run It Back tour. If they are able to complete that and win another Super Bowl, well, that'd be more impressive than last year to be able to back it up and to come back and do it again.
Yeah, this is hard. It's hard every year. To repeat, as you've seen in sports, is really...
And with COVID, too, dodging all that protocol.
Yeah, I think it's hard, period. And then you throw COVID on top of it. But it just speaks to the specialness of this team. Right? The leaders on this team, it's an amazing accomplishment. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. We got one job, and that's to be 1-0 this week, right? Win this one, and then get the chance to play in another one, and then hopefully get back to Tampa and do our job there.
Well, a year ago today, the Chiefs beat the Texans by 20 in the divisional round after being down 24 points. The most impactful person off the field, though, that game was Charles Penn, also known as Bad Luck Chuck. You may remember he posted this video of himself leaving the game for the betterment of the team. Well, Kevin Holmes caught up with him earlier today to see what his plans are for Sunday. Kevin also tweeting at Patrick Mahomes to see how he feels about it.
I just tweeted Patrick Mahomes and asked him if you should stay at home this playoff run. What do you think he would say, and are you going to stay home?
He probably gonna say I still should stay out of it. You know what I mean? Even though the Chiefs did win the Super Bowl this past season, so I guess he'll probably should stick to the game plan this year.
We'll see what happens. That's a look at sports. We'll be right back.
Load up the car, pack up the kids. It's time to hit the road. Every Friday, 41 Action News is taking you on a one-tank trip.
Woo! Come on, get on here. We got a lot more to see.
From the nearby favorites to the unique, fascinating, and more, Daisha Jones shows you the great family fun, all just a tank of gas away.
Oh, yeah.
One Tank Trips, every Friday on 41 Action News, sponsored by Quick Trip.
Oh, okay. Thanks for hanging out with us. I was waiting on y'all to start.
Good night.